you know, there are a few in the right-wing world that are more panicked. He's right, Diana. There are a few in the world that are more panicked than Glenn Beck when it comes to Marxism. Now, those of you that need to know, I guess it's important for people to know is that I am not pro-Marxism in any way. As a matter of fact, I think most economic theories written when there were less than 1 billion people on the planet are completely useless for the description of anything going forward. And most of Marxist, ideology is about just using farm workers to fuel industrial growth, and it's just gross. And like the idea of community and people and the people's whatever as buzzwords for communism and Marxism that may have happened in the 60s and 70s and stuff is bullshit best left in the idea of all capitalism is resource capitalism, meaning I was born on oil, and if you want oil, you got to talk to me. In an era where you can drink somebody's milkshake with slant drilling, and the idea that we live in a modern technological age where you can farm your own brain and create an app that could make you a multi-millionaire. And so the kind of idea that a king can hold power over you the way they could in the 1800s is just lunacy. So anyways, I'm just saying, thank you, Diana. I hope so. But apparently it's a much bigger boogeyman than I'm aware. And that's why Glenn Beck on the daily needs to panic about it. If there was a better example of, why is this not, there it goes. This is a video, by the way, called Glenn, Marxists want to change everything, you have to stand. Okay, Glenn, buddy, you have to stand a lot more and stop sitting so much if you want to change back to this. I don't know what kind of fisheye lens you're supposedly using right here, or where the girdle came from, or if you just flat out shrunk your body. But this ain't that. I'll tell you what Marxists might want to do is change your diet. Yeah.
Marxism is wrong, and if you had to pick one sentence on why it's wrong,
you don't have to, though, because we don't live in a communist society where they, to each according to his needs, and so you only need one sentence. That's all you get.
It would be.
This is, by the way, I'm sick of Glenn Beck's Marxist ideology about discussing Marxism.
Quote, the philosophers have only interpreted the world in various ways, but the point is to change the world, end quote.
Huh? You could argue that the founding fathers could say that very same thing when they were trying to move away from theocracy and monarchy to democracy, right? The point is not the point is to change the world. That's what democracy is for. It was a fundamental shift in how the earth is run. Democracy is that. And I don't know why he thinks that's oh my God, Marxists want to change the world. So did the people who fought in the Revolutionary War, you dick.
This is the reason why you can't watch the NBA without being called a racist.
Does that happen? Oh my God. Is basketball on even right now? Am I racist for not knowing that? I'm so confused at where all the areas where Glenn Beck believes me. Maybe it's what you're saying when you're watching the game. Maybe thank you, Treva. Glenn, maybe what are you saying during basketball games that is making people call you a racist?
It's why your children's sex lives are none of your business. It's why...
I beg your pardon?
Humor is dying by the minute.
By the way, Glenn, just for the record, your children's sex lives are none of my business. My child's sex education is my business. But at a certain point, when he's old enough to have sex, there's a level of privacy that I think is important there. Obviously, until he's 18, I do have a say in the matter. So obviously, I clearly haven't been indoctrinated well enough, but I understand how you'd want to know about children's sex lives.
It's why journalism has become totally useless, because it's not
Apparently, you don't have a bird.
to interpret the world, it's to change the world.
Yeah.
Everything.
Change everything. The sky is purple. Cowboys have microphones. This guy can put the word sport in his studio, and no one's supposed to laugh. If you watch the Globetrotters, are you still racist? Only if you root for the generals.
And everything, Marx says, is political.
Everything Marx says is political. Oh, everything. Marx says everything is political. Okay, so, all right.
Marx.
Well, that's because he dealt in a time politic, where you were pushing back against, czars and industrialists, so worldwide. It was,
wanted to reverse all traditions, all values, all beliefs that weren't his.
Well, yeah, but that didn't mean all values that were normal or all beliefs or all systems that are normal to everybody aren't his, right? I mean, it's not like he's like, all right, everybody in England, you guys drive on the right. Everybody in the United States, you guys drive on the left. I just want everything backwards. Are we sure that Karl Marx's name isn't Xram Lurak? Xram Lurak? He wants everything backwards.
You want an example of this? Here's Michelle Obama. Just a few years.
Yeah, that big Marxist, Michelle Obama. Okay.
A few years ago, this was right before she was taken off the campaign trail in 2007.
And
this is very By the way, you have to know how sad it makes Glenn Beck to play Michelle Obama clips. This is where his life has gotten. We've already been through the Trump presidency. Biden is president, and he's playing Michelle Obama clips from 6 years ago or 10 years ago.
And Barack knows that we are going to have to make sacrifices. We are going to have to change our conversation. We're going to have to change our traditions, our history. We're going to have to move into a different place.
Oh my God, Glenn, how do you not just explode? We have to change our history. Wait, does she mean, when she says our, does she mean the Confederacy like you do? I'm just confused. Thank you. Let the glasses fool you. If I see you in Vegas next month, will you sign my 01 sweatshirt going for my birthday? Absolutely.
And we are. We're there.
Yeah. Oh my God. We're changing it. We're now celebrating the end of slavery when just a couple of years ago, we were pretending it hadn't really ended. Right, Glenn? What?
Marx wanted to get rid of traditions and values and all the things that people held sacred, even if they'd been sacred since before recorded history.
Oh, yeah. You mean like flint and steel? Fire? He was a big anti-fire dude. But what?
Even if it was the invaluable part of being human itself.
That's right, yeah. I mean, Karl Marx, during his self-castration phase, was just extraordinary.
Individual. He hated religion. He spited God. He said that labor, not God, created man. Really? How was that?
Well, moms go into labor, I think is what he meant. I don't know. This is so stupid. Is anybody going to... You do realize that there's like a subset of a subset of subset of college students and professors that give a shit about Marx, and everybody else is like, well, I mean, what you call socialism is really democratic taxation. We got to talk about what we do for and around the people that can fall through the cracks of any society, and we got to worry about that without the workers of the world with the bullshit, the proletariat that must push back against the blah, blah, blah. Like, come on.
Christ preached love.
Yeah, not if you ask Lanny Walnuts and Hank Cooney Pants.
Marx incited violence and encouraged death.
How'd that work out for him?
He got kicked out of Belgium for buying guns for terrorists.
And you know how hard that is? Smuggling a gun in a waffle? Sorry. This is so dumb.
Society values marriage. So Marx degraded the family unit. You just heard from a dad in California whose children are being taught to think about a world without marriage. How would that benefit society?
Yeah, intellectual discussions about the things might actually lead you to believing that it is really important for the labor joke. Thank you, Captain Hotlicks.
Wouldn't.
Yeah, well, thanks. Why are we even discussing this? Glenn has the answers, guys.
Marx replaced faith with doubt, compassion.
And doubt is an essence of faith, because if you were assured in your faith, if it was knowledge, it wouldn't be faith anymore. Doubt is an intrinsic aspect of faith. That's why it requires daily work. Without it, it would be automatic, like a dog's instincts to lick his ass. And I don't think that Glenn wants faith to be on the same level as a dog licking his ass. Or its ass, not his. Never mind.
Passion with prejudice, truth with feeling, art with propaganda, and
really? That was the point? Look, all art must be propaganda. If there's no use for art, it does not serve the workforce.
Work with laziness. That's...
Wait a minute, what?
Feeling, art with propaganda, and
right.
Work with laziness.
How do you do that? How do you replace work with laziness? Oh, that's legal weed? Is that what that is? Or you just shoot a dart in someone's neck? Like, that guy seems like he's got some good ideas, is fairly industrious, and is enjoying the use of his brand new 3D printer. Oh, God, fuck it. You know what? Bordy.
That's what Marx believed. Can you say check to all of...
Yeah, yes, I can. I just won't, because it sounds weird.
That's what Marx believed. Can you say check to all of the things that he said had to happen? It's all...
Yeah, no, yes. I mean, again, why would Marx want, for example, the government to provide loans that have to be paid back unless they meet certain criterion, for people to open their own private businesses that only benefit, technically speaking, the customers that choose to use it and the people who own it? And the government would protect their ability to do that, and that loan would be effectively interest-free. I'm just saying that you might want to erase one of the checks on there.
It's all happening in America today.
All of it? Oh, goodness. That's so basically Marx was for gay marriage but against marriage in general. So now that we have gay marriage, he'd be against it. How long do we have to have something before it's a tradition that he hates? Honestly, because like deep fried Snickers bars have been around for a long time, but they weren't around before Snickers, I'm pretty sure.
The left is involved with very well-trained Marxists.
Yeah, sure. That well-trained. They're all doing great. Especially the woman who headed up Black Lives Matter that just quit. Let's see. I could probably find... yeah, Patrice Kahn-Cullors. She's a very well-trained Marxist. I don't know if you know this. She's an admitted Marxist. Well-trained. She's well-trained, according to Glenn Beck. She's so well-trained, by the way, as a Marxist, that she went on $1 million real estate buying binge with all the money she was making from BLM and speeches and stuff like that. So, obviously, I don't know, did she go to the Bernie Madoff School of Marxism? This is the... I'm just saying, if they're well-trained Marxists, would a well-trained Marxist pay $35,000 to put a wall, fencing, and electric gate around their $1.4 million Topanga Canyon home that she bought with cash after she bought $3 million in other property? I'm just saying, wherever they're training these Marxists, can we all go there? Because apparently, right? Check. Yeah. Bing. So well trained.
And
where do you get Marxist training? You get it at universities and philosophy departments, apparently. And, of course, Guatemalan paramilitary camps.
internalize this attitude of life without God, without family, without marriage, without faith, without real art, with being separate.
Yeah, not real art, like tin dogs and sport things with the hue lights behind them and the framed macrame flag and basically, I mean, isn't this art in its own way? You know what I mean? In a kind of funky industrial kind of a way. The old Coleman cooler or water cooler. In that, in many ways, it's. I mean, I don't know if it's art, but I know what I like when I'm thirsty.
Separate from politics, without truth, without compassion. All they have is the urge to destroy.
Gosh, that must be rough. How do you have lunch with these people? Yeah, it's very post-industrial. Thank you.
When nothing is sacred, nothing is sacred.
Nothing at all. Nothing is sacred. Nothing except, a $1.4 million house with a $35,000 fence around it.
Human life is expendable. Marx believed an individual human life was less important than the well-being of the community.
Yeah, so did the Donner Party. And
he believed people should sacrifice themselves for the sake of the community or for future generations.
Weird. It's almost like the same thing we ask of members of our military, and we honor them for doing such things. Ladies and gentlemen, Glenn Beck shitting on the Memorial Day as a holiday.
That's what he believed, and that's where we're headed.
No, we're not. We're not headed that way, by the way.
This is how the left justifies killing off their own. When you think about...
no, we don't kill off our own. We eat them like tigers. Hey.
Karl Marx and Marxism. Think of an image.
Okay. Ew. He didn't say what kind of images. I made the mistake. The first image. The second image was of my own choosing. Sorry, it's probably not the image he's talking
about. An animal devouring its offspring.
Right. Well, that was I went there right away. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. They eat. Now I know why tigers eat their. Now I know why Marxists eat their own. Ooh.
You know my stance on cancel culture.
Yeah, you think it should be canceled.
But you also know how I feel about justice, real justice. There is no love without justice.
There is no love without justice. Glenn, did you just have an argument with your wife?
Proverbs. To do what is right and just is more acceptable to the Lord than sacrifice. That again, Proverbs. Look it up, 21.
Yeah, exactly. So what's right and just may not be to send, let's see. Oh, thank you so much, Robin. Thank you for being a patron. Appreciate that.
3. We've talked about a lot of people on this program.
Yes, you have, and I don't feel I know any of them any better for it.
There's a lot.
Yeah, you just talked about Michelle Obama, and I'm still not sure why I should be panicked.
Big debate now about Anthony Fauci.
Yeah, isn't there? I mean, it's not really a debate. There's like the entire world, and then 9 of you assholes going, but it was...
Unlike the left, my understanding of Anthony Fauci is based on his actions, not what he says, not his...
You mean adapting to the science as it comes along instead of holding to it like dogma, as if just being kind of anti-vax all the time, regardless of the fact that you see the direct benefits of it because Mark of the Beast kind of stuff? You mean like that?
Persona.
What's the word behind him? It says sport. It does not say spurt. Although... Or does it?
I thought he was a
Well, you don't do that.
good man, and he may be.
But don't let that stop you from accusing him of being the devil himself, because, justice.
I wanted to believe that. We all wanted to believe that.
We all wanted to believe in you, Anthony.
We needed to, because we were in dark days those first few days.
Yeah, just the first few days. It got better when more people died. Like during the summer, that period was sweet, Glenn. When we were losing hundreds of thousands of Americans. That's when it really eased up. And you're like, we're kind of in a groove now, right, man? Holy shit.
We needed answers. We wanted explanations.
We got none. The Chinese are doing great. she is handling it very professionally. There's 14 cases. It's going to go to 0. One lady, she's a little sick. It might be a guy. I don't really know. We'll be in church by Easter.
We wanted to make sense of it all. And Fauci was the guy that was in our government who was the most qualified.
And he was the one saying, okay, it's not in the country to the level that we know it, we thought it was. It's growing. You're going to need to start wearing masks at this point. It's obvious that it's spread. Before we were kind of keeping an eye on it, but now it's reached a tipping point where masks will help. That kind of stuff. But that's a total flip-flop, according to Glenn.
But then we have the Machiavellian side of...
Yes, the Smithers version of Fauci.
We get glimpses of the hypocrisy, hints of his disgust of Donald Trump.
Yeah, but that's obviously a sign of character and taste and breeding. If you don't have a sense of disgust about Donald Trump, there's something wrong with you. I mean, even if you think he's doing the right stuff, you can still be disgusted by the man, right? I mean, the grabbing women without asking permission, I mean, that's disgusting. And if that doesn't bother you, or you're willing to take that with the other stuff, the overt sexual assault, the bragging about it, you're okay with that as long as you get your tax cuts and you get a physical barrier that you can tack up that is basically like replacing fencing on the southern border, just as a monument to Mexicans are disgusting. As long as you get that, you don't have any problem. And by the way, one of his biggest problems with Marxism, flexible morality.
We heard him out, then we watched as he repeatedly went against his word. The mainstream media hasn't been interested in truth for a while.
Yeah, I mean, they hired you.
They love anyone who would humiliate Donald Trump.
Well, especially, that's not true. They don't. Are you saying they love Donald Trump? Because did you see what I read of his a minute ago? No one humiliates Donald Trump better than Donald Trump.
They love anyone who is really rooting for revolution.
No, we don't. We do not like, for example, Chris Salcido, for example, who literally says in 5 months Biden inspires open rebellion. I'm not a fan of Chris Salcido's. I think he's a dirtbag. Of course, that's spelled D-U-R-T-B-A-H-G, dirtbug. Because I've got a Trump dictionary.
They look for anyone who would make Karl Marx proud.
Anyone who would make Groucho Marx proud. I look for anybody who would make Richard Marx proud. That's true. You know what I mean? And that's a large group of people, and ever increasing. I'm happy to say I've sort of become the weird hinge point between some of the oddest musical bedfellows on Twitter. Just because I seem to be a convergence point for a bunch of these dudes. The D. Snyders and the Richard Marxes of the world. Not that they wouldn't cross otherwise, but there's definitely been kind of a across the streams moment on my stuff. But I hope one day to make Richard Marx proud. If only with my cover of let's see, which one should it be? Don't Mean Nothing? No. Hold On to the Nights. I mean, that's a tearjerker. Hold On to the Nights. That's what I'm going to cover. I'm going to do an acoustic cover of that. I've decided right now. Hold me to it.
Anyone who sided with Trump was their enemy. Anyone who hated him was their comrade.
Comrade. That's adorable. By the way, well, I'll tell you later.
All throughout 2020.
When people were dying in droves and Trump was going, what? I just sold him a bunch of beef.
All we got was people who were against Donald Trump. We got stories gushing about them.
But we also got Fox and you and an entire wing of just bloviating, Pravda-esque assholes literally lining up to get, well, figuratively, beg your pardon, figuratively lining up to give him, because I have no evidence, to give Donald Trump a rusty trombone, and no one ready to dirty their mustache quicker than Glenn Beck.
Time magazine said he was the guardian of the year. That's Anthony Fauci.
Mm-hmm.
The media praise people.
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, especially when they do Man of the Year or something like that, or Woman of the Year, Person of the Year. Yeah, that would effectively be praise. Not a lot of praise though. Usually it sticks when you're praiseworthy.
Praise people.
Praise.
Without doing their homework. He may end up being a good guy.
Yeah. Listen to this. Listen to that. Hold on. Freeze. Stop what you're doing. Listen to this dickhead. He's just accused the media. Listen to this sentence. Holy shit.
Without doing their homework.
Hold on.
People.
They praise people. Wait.
The media praise people. Praise people.
Praise people.
Without doing their homework.
Without doing their homework.
He may end up being a good guy.
He may end up being a good guy. You didn't do your homework. You aren't doing your homework. So the media praises people without doing your homework, and what do? Criticize, demean, slander them without doing your homework? Are you the opposite of what if journalism praises people without doing their homework, then you are the opposite of journalism, Glenn. You are Marx's dream come true. If Karl Marx arrived one day, he'd look at our media and go, "This is terrible. It serves the proletariat, or it serves the bourgeoisie, and it needs to be reversed." Do what Glenn Beck is doing.
Praise people. Praise people. Without doing their homework. He may end up being a good guy. Don't think so, but he may end up being a good guy.
I don't care. For the sake of my daily show, I need to take a shit on him, admitting I don't know what I'm talking about. That would be...
We need to go into this with a look at blind justice.
Yes, justice must be blind, especially when she's swinging a sword around. And we'll just push people in front of her because while she's blind, the sword does real damage.
Not a justice because you agree with the Marxists.
No. And if you agree with the Marxists, Marx wants to turn that on its head. I want everything to be backwards. So if you agree with me, I want you to not agree with me. And anybody who doesn't agree with me now agrees with me. Period. Okay?
Not a justice
fucking speech to text.
because you're on the right side.
Which is now the wrong side because we like everything backwards.
But a justice that says this was right and this was wrong.
Yes, but now we say this was wrong and that was right. Basically, I'm from the upside down.
Marx wrote, "We only know one
For a guy who hates Marx, you sure do read a lot of him.
science, the science of history." That's exactly what you would expect to hear.
You what now?
Science of history. Marx wrote, "We only know one science, the science of history." That's exactly what you would expect to hear
From a guy who was born before a microwave was invented?
from somebody who doesn't understand history.
Or science.
And who doesn't understand science.
See, you could have said that tighter. I mean, obviously he doesn't understand. Like, he would imagine showing him an Apple Watch. Dude would be fucked up. He'd be go, seriously? This is what capitalism gave you. Son of a bitch. This will track my footsteps and tell me if I'm meeting my fitness goals and pay for my Starbucks at the same time? Oh shit, look at that. Tile helps me find I can control my keynotes with this thing? Fucking hell. I was wrong. Everybody, we're backwards. Everything's backwards. Whatever I said that I was right about, I was wrong about. Oh my God, I'm caught in my sister, my daughter, my lies, my truths. Yeah, radar range. Thanks, Brian.
History is not going to look kindly on the science of Anthony Fauci or the quote-unquote science of CRT.
There isn't science of CRT. It's a philosophy. Even using the word theory is provocative on purpose. It's not even really a theory. It's a philosophy.
Or the science of modern monetary theory.
You mean the kind of The fuck is Bitcoin? I want to hear Karl Marx. Somebody needs to make a clone of Karl Marx so he can wake up and go, fuck is Bitcoin? Shit if I know, bro.
Because if I give Anthony Fauci the benefit of the doubt,
you'd be off the air. You wouldn't have a show anymore. Your people would turn on you, and you wouldn't have any sponsors. I wouldn't recommend it.
Not a Marxist, surely.
No, he isn't.
And he may just be a man who just made a bunch of mistakes.
Yeah, maybe. Like a human.
But no one will be held blameless for modern monetary theory.
Yeah, especially Anthony Fauci. I mean, I blame Doge's rise and fall on him, fucker.
For CRT.
I'll make a Karl Marx puppet. It's a good idea. I should have one.
For the cancel culture.
Yeah, that's also not Fauci's fault.
No one will be held.
By the way, you do realize it used to be a right-wing thing to burn books, which was a form of cancel culture. And this is just it kind of coming back around and being sort of applied evenly.
Blameless for that.
Yes, Mike Pillow is still a sponsor.
This is the time where there are sides.
Yeah, you got to take a side. You're either on the side of the lobster men with beards, or you're on the side of the long hairs who, during COVID, grew their hair out and just decided, fuck it, I'm keeping it. I don't care. This is the life right now. And you are forever caught in that great theological and philosophical ping pong match of life.
Real sides, and it's not Republican and Democrat.
No, it's not real Republicans and Democrats. Do they even exist? It's Trumpsters, activists against everybody else that's trying to have a normal life.
It's not. That's an illusion.
Yes, it is. I don't even know what even to call it anymore.
Another thing to separate us, which Karl Marx believes you have to do.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that Karl Marx wanted was a democracy with two political parties.
God unites. Marx separates and divides.
Wait, sorry, what was that again?
God unites.
Yeah, that's why he made people different colors. That's what the Tower of Babel was about. Let us go down and confound their language and spread them across the face of the earth, because there's nothing that they can imagine that they cannot do. So, I mean, that sounds unifying.
Marx separates and divides.
Yes, absolutely. Like oil and water, like third grade math.
That's funny because that's exactly what Satan would do, but I digress.
That's so weird, but I digress.
That's funny because that's exactly what Satan would do, but I digress.
Yes, Karl Marx was Satan. Don't inflate him or anything. He was just kind of a blip on the philosophical monetary scheme that's worked his way into the philosophical monetary discussions in modern classrooms and kind of outlived his shelf life in a lot of ways. But equate him with Jesus's main nemesis. That'll do it. Sounds like an 80s bra commercial.
There are sides now.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you are either on the devil's side or you are on Fauci's side. Wait a minute.
And if you want to play the middle ground,
yeah, pretty soon, just like grape,
you are choosing a side.
Thank you, Geddy Lee. If you choose not to decide, you still have made a choice.
And I'm sorry to say.
Yeah, I'm sorry you speak as well.
Those who choose to remain silent now.
I talk every day.
Are on the side of darkness.
Well, I mean, I do have kind of a concrete background, but that's mainly because it helps me with the green screen because it's a little choppy. So this kind of, like if I have a single, I'll show you. Like if I have a single color, because my hair, there's a little bit of like flicker and that kind of stuff. So I would have a background like this, but Glenn, it's just easier if I have a gray background like this with a little bit of hash in it, so it's less distracting if there's flicker. So I'm definitely on the side of darkness, but my name's in white, so maybe that should make you feel comfortable. My name matches your beard. It's good.
You have to stand.
You're sitting. We're both sitting. I'm on a stool though. What are you doing?
Be counted.
One.
And let your voice be heard. clearly
Clearly
in all things.
in all things.
Do not
Do not
violate the things that you know to be true.
That you know to be true.
Basic principles.
Basic principles. Not quite musical, but we'll go roll with it.
Do not go along with it. Do not allow your children to write essays on things.
What? Sorry, do not let your children write essays. What?
Do not go along with it.
No.
Do not allow your children to write essays
No, do not.
on things that you know and they know are untrue. Don't do it.
Even as an intellectual exercise.
Get an F.
Let your kid get an F. These are the educational whims of. This is Glenn Beck's pro-education. Like the moron you know. Boom, 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 boom. Thanks, Glenn. Yes. Kids flunk out of school rather than write a paper about something you don't agree with. Even if in the context of writing the paper, you could point out quite well and well thought out reasons why you're against something, and that might get you extra credit. But nah, fuck it. Don't if it. You know what? If they bring up something that your parents politically are against, don't even turn in your homework. Okay? And honestly, is math really a thing? I mean,
It's the only way to.
it is the only way. It's the only way to go.
Flex your courage.
Yeah, flex that courage. Do the titty dance, Glenn. Come on, I can do it. You can do it. Let's do this. Come on, Glenn. Just do these a little bit of that business. Just kind of fly it. Thanks, Verena.
To be strong enough when things really get tough.
Oh yeah, when they really get tough, put in a commercial. That's what that finger is, by the way, in case you're wondering.
Your courage.
Watch.
To be strong enough when things really get tough.
Zing, zang, zoo. Hey, don't forget to buy your MyPillow, whatever. Hashtag code MikePillow66. You get 66% off or whatever. Very little, 20% off the fecal material in your particular pillow at any given time. Oh, God.